welcome back to the Survivor podcast. As always, my name is Darius Cook, host of the Survivor podcast, and today we are joined by Becca of the Bench Has Spoken podcast. Hello, Becca. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. Super excited to be here. Super excited to talk Survivor. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Bench Has Spoken podcast. So we're in this space and just love to talk Survivor. So the more the merrier. Excited to be here.
Yes, the more the merrier, except for we're not joined by Mary today.
That's right. The more one, less merrier. So my co-host, her name's Mary. She had some prior obligations today, but maybe she'll be able to hop on and join you sometime soon. That'd be fun.
Yeah, well, anyone watching, if you're on TikTok and you watch TikTok Survivor content, certainly you've seen Becca's face before. I think they're posting every single day. So they're making great content over there with The Bench Has Spoken. And so I'm very appreciative that Becca made time to join me today. And today we're talking all things Survivor 50. We are just a few days away from the premiere of Survivor 50. It premiered a few days ago, that is to say. Crazy explosive episode. So I thought, why not get Becca on to talk all things Survivor? Because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, we've got 3 hours of content to talk about, which is so exciting. I was really kind of hesitant when they said it was going to be a 3 hour episode. I thought, oh gosh, that's going to be a long time and a lot of information to fill, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, time flies when you're having fun. It didn't feel like 2 hours for me. We are going to dive into the entire episode. Before we get into those highlights, I do want to ask you, Becca, how long have you been a Survivor fan? What got you into Survivor?
So I'll have to admit, I'm not an original. So I started watching Survivor in probably 2012, when I started dating my now husband. And we spent our early years dating, going back and watching every season of Survivor. So I got all caught up. And then since then, we've watched it religiously together, which is fun. It's been really good. So I got to tell you, he was a gateway drug into Survivor and it's kept me pretty consistent, but I fell in love.
Wow, we have a similar story. I actually didn't. I had seen no Survivor until COVID started. It was
Oh,
2020.
wow. So you are
Yep,
fresh.
I'm new.
That's
I'm
great.
a newbie. I'm a new era, if you will. But yeah, so 2020 during COVID, my current wife, not at the time girlfriend, we had nothing to do, and she had seen a few seasons over the year, and she had interest in going back and watching all the seasons. And so we put on one of the Netflix seasons, and that had me hooked. We saw like a few seasons, and then we heard that Winners at War was going to be airing soon, and I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so cool. But the only way to do it is to go back and watch every single season,
Only way to
right?
do
I
it.
don't want to get a spoiler and then have to go back. So that's how we spent the entire COVID. It took us like a year and a half, honestly, to watch all of it. But we watched it all. And then, since then, I've pretty much gone back and rewatched every single season with her as well. So,
That's
so
awesome.
yeah, me and
Our
my wife
spouses
also connect over Survivor. It's a great romance sparker, if you will.
Yeah, that's right. So if you're looking for something to really deepen your relationship, turn on an episode of Survivor.
It's true. And if you're going back and watching all the seasons, I challenge you to see Boston Rob and Amber's love story and not feel some of those emotions yourself. But yeah, so yeah, I'm a new era guy, but I'm catching up. I'm catching up with the meta and everything. And getting to Survivor 50 finally has felt like this momentous accomplishment that we've been waiting for so long. But going into the season, going into the episode, before the episode started, who was your winner pick for Survivor 50, Becca?
Okay, well, I've got a logical winner pick, and then my heart has a winner pick, so I'll give you both.
Okay.
I love Colby. Since the first time I saw a Colby season, I love him. I think he's a charismatic guy. I think he's a handsome guy. I think he's fun to watch. I think he's super competitive. So my heart wants Colby to win. Do I think that's going to happen? No. And this is going to sound who I logically think is going to happen. I've got two top picks, but I made a TikTok. This is going to sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I made a TikTok before Survivor season 50, episode one aired. And I said, my prediction for the first person to be voted out is Emily Flippin. Boy, was I wrong. Not only was I wrong, but I feel like she may have had a winner's edit in Survivor 50 season one or episode one. So potentially Emily. I'm just have a hunch there. And then secondly, I really like Camilla. I think she plays well. I think she's doing a great job about staying average. I think that's the trick when you first start with a new group of people. So I really like Camilla and I really like Emily for potential winners, but my heart says Colby. What do you think?
Mm. That's so interesting. I immediately have so many thoughts about what you have to say. That being said, going into the episode, my winner pick was Coach and D, and that's a little
Oh,
bit of head and heart. I don't know why I'm rooting for D, but it's just a gut reaction leading, coming into 50 that for some reason I think that she's going to do well. And then Coach, that's just my heart. I want Coach to win. I think it would be the most fun version of the season if Coach is crowned the winner of the season, of course. That being said, I have so much thoughts about what you just said. I hadn't thought about Emily Flippen getting a winner's edit, but now that you mention it, I did before we talked to this, I looked at the confessional counts. And, when you're looking at the edit, if you're trying to read the edit in terms of are they giving us any hints as to who might be the winner, I feel like in that opening episode, you got to go right in the middle of the row, right? If they got
yeah.
no confessionals, it's hard to see them being a winner. But if they had the most, that feels a little too obvious, right? So, now that you're saying Emily, I think Camilla is another one that's kind of right in the middle when it comes to confessional counts. You might be onto something, Becca. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. But to your point, Coach is so fun to watch. So I hope he sticks around purely for entertainment value, at least until the top five. I really like watching Coach play.
Yeah, we deserve to see as much Coach as humanly possible this season. That's for sure. And then you talked about Colby, and Colby on my notes here is actually one of the first people that I wanted to get into that I wanted to
Oh,
discuss.
perfect.
Yeah, and that is because one of my biggest highlights coming out of the first episode of season 50 is this dynamic between Colby and Rizzo, right? We saw, at first Colby was like, well, who is this guy? He's annoying. But then pretty quickly he came around and is like pretty high on Rizzo all of a sudden and is maybe seeing a bit of himself, a bit of a younger version of himself within Rizzo. What do you think about the dynamic between those two?
I was I think it was refreshing in the beginning. We've seen a lot in the past few seasons, kumbaya, we all get along, we all want to be best friends. But I think that there was a healthy amount of conflict in the episode overall. But I think that was evident in that initial response when we got Colby's initial reaction to Rizzo. And to be fair, in season 49, in the beginning, I thought, what is happening? Like, this guy's a lot. This guy is a lot. And by the end of season 49, I loved him.
Mhm.
So maybe he's the kind of guy that grows on you a little bit. And I could imagine him being pretty endearing after a pretty short period of time. So I thought it was great that they were transparent, that the initial reaction wasn't kumbaya and rainbows. But he really seemed to lean in after that initial interaction, which I think it's sweet. I think it's great.
Yeah, that might be the Rizzo effect on people because I'm the same. Like coming into 49, I was like, I hope this guy gets out early because I don't
Yeah.
want to see all these antics. Oh, Riz got this, Riz got that. And so yeah, like he's big in your face on paper, but he does kind of worm his way in. And I think that he does become endearing. By the end of season 49, everyone in my personal life is like rooting for Rizzo all of a sudden. So interesting to see how quickly he was able to turn Colby around, especially in these early stages of the game. They might be buying some loyalty that might last here. I found myself pontificating over the potential of actually getting a Colby and Rizzo duo alliance throughout the season of 50.
The alliance nobody saw coming. Literally nobody.
Yeah, no one could possibly have predicted that they would actually like work well together. And I actually think there's a potential path forward where you know, if Colby can actually rely on Rizzo a little bit, we've seen that Rizzo is very savvy in a fast-paced game. If they can get their hands on an advantage, they could be an underrated and under the radar duo to actually navigate the game and maybe pull something, pretty impressive off.
Yeah. I could see him Colby also coaching Rizzo up. Rizzo transparently played under Savannah's wing the entire season 49, but I think he is fully capable of playing independently. And I could see coach kind of, or excuse me, Colby kind of being a coach to Rizzo and saying, hey, you're fully capable, have some confidence in yourself. Like, you've obviously got some skill, let's run with that and highlight that. So I could see him really kind of being a mentor almost to Rizzo.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Like, I wasn't necessarily rooting for Colby coming into 50. That being said, he really did win me over in that premiere episode. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. And it seems like he's going to be the unique perspective on this cast of being kind of the older, kind of wisdom guy, so to speak. Yeah, I'm really excited for Colby this season. Really excited to see what we have in store for Colby and Rizzo in particular. Moving on from that a little bit, we're talking about Colby, one of the classic Survivor goats. Let's move on to some more classic Survivor goats in the form of Coach and Ozzy. I
Love
didn't
it.
expect for the two of them to continue their rivalry into season 50, but
I'm
that's
so glad
exactly
they
what we got.
I'm glad they did. I'm glad that they leaned into that. I think that's something that we've missed desperately in New Era is conflict. Like there's been minimal like tiffs, but nothing kind of long standing. And I'm not wanting people to get out there and fist fight or anything, but I want it to be known that like, hey, we're all fighting for something. And with that, naturally is going to come conflict. And I'm not going to pretend like I like you or I'm on your team when I'm not. So I like that they kind of highlighted the fact that like no, like they're respectful and they're cordial of each other, but like it's still kind of a give and take. Love it, love it.
Yeah, it's interesting because on one hand, they're bringing so much of that like classic Survivor energy back into the game right now, and I love that. But what we're also seeing is a 4.0 version of Coach and a 4.0 version of Ozzy, and I was pretty impressed at how much it seems like they've gotten perspective on their games and that they are bringing in a more matured version of their games, and I think for the better for both of them.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree. Coach specifically, he's funny, and I like that he's leaning into being the old guy with all the experience. That's fun to watch.
Yeah. I do think that this is going to be the best version of Coach that we've ever seen. And I will argue that the best version of Ozzy is probably the first version of Ozzy we've ever gotten, is a version of him that nobody sees coming. But since all of his latter seasons, I think this is the best version of Ozzy we've gotten since his first debut, if you will. This is the
I
best version of Ozzy that we can have at this point in Survivor history.
Yeah, well, and the game he's playing is working out for him. At the end of the first episode, he seems to be a pretty strong contender.
Yeah, I saw somebody say this, and I fully agree. Ozzy has had a full Survivor experience in one episode of season
Yes.
50 at this point. He's gone on a journey, he's gone exile, he's got multiple advantages, he's competed in individual and group challenges, and he's gone for a vote, and he went to he went to the bat for Sari. I mean, Ozzy has really lived a full experience in just about 48 hours here. It's very impressive.
I didn't think of it like that, but that's just so true. I mean, it was this episode was very Aussie heavy. The Exile Island, I thought was hilarious. Him and Q on Exile Island, it just seemed very much sleepover coded. And then the next day, when they were standing on the beach with their backpacks on, it seemed like they were waiting for their moms to pick them up. I thought it was adorable.
Oh my gosh. And let's talk about the Exile twist in general. I wish that we spent more time with Q and Ozzy on Exile. Release a whole episode that is just the two of them and whatever they talked about all night. I have to know how Ozzy and Q spent their time in their little sleepover on the island. Like, obviously, there was much they had to get to, but if it was a season from the past, I feel like we would have spent more time on the two of them in their sleepover, and I wish we had.
Yeah, there was a lot of content in this 3 hour episode, but I totally agree with you. That kind of felt like and they're going to Exile Island. Okay, it's the next morning. There was no really, like, why? Did they look for an advantage? Did they talk strategy? Did they form an alliance? We don't know.
Yeah. I'd imagine that Ozzy, it's not Ozzy's first time spending the night on a deserted island. I imagine he would have some sage advice to give out to Q. What do you think about the choice to include an Exile Island twist on season 50 in general?
I think if you're going to include it, you got to give it more legs to stand on. If you're going to include it and just it kind of be like, okay, check the box. They wanted Exile Island, they got Exile Island,
Mm.
and that's what it felt like a little bit to me. But I think if you're going to include it, let's include it. Let's really focus on it.
Yeah, let's lean into the exile of it.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how they plan on using it throughout the season. Because you're right, if they keep it to the capacity that it is in the first episode, that would be underwhelming and a bit of a waste of time if we're being honest. But if we get creative with the twist, we put some advantages out on Exile. Maybe give the winner of an individual immunity challenge the power to send someone to exile every once in a while. If they do stuff like that, I think it can be fun. But you're right. Right now, it's left to. It was a fun shock, right? That was a
Yeah.
great reveal. Hey, you guys actually have to stay here tonight. Very fun moment, but they didn't do much else with it. So that's interesting.
Yeah, we had Mary and I attended a premiere party, and they gave out Survivor bingo cards, and one of the topics on the bingo card was Exile Island. So as soon as they were there, everybody was cheering like, "Yay! We can fill in our bingo spot."
Oh man, that sounds so fun. I wish my city did that. Orlando is shockingly like has no Survivor fanfare ever. There's never watch parties, no
Interesting.
bars do it. It's so annoying.
Yeah, well, and you have palm trees. I mean, that's pretty much the same thing as the Survivor Island.
That's true. That's true. We could be replicating a lot of that experience. That's absolutely true. So, moving on from Exile, I want to talk about one of the interesting standoffs that happened in this premiere episode. It went by very quick, but I feel like it's worth digging into, and that was between Aubrey and Genevieve. What did you think about their little standoff moment?
It was interesting to me. I like Genevieve a lot. I can understand why they would have a little bit of a standoff. I feel like they're similar players with similar gameplay styles and similar personalities. So that inherently is going to cause people to either stick together like glue or mix like oil and water. And I think in this particular case, we saw they're going to mix like oil and water. And I don't know, again, and I keep saying it, but I am here for the conflict. So I like anytime that there's a little bit of a riff and people don't just run away from it. They kind of lean in and it's like, okay, we're going to establish the fact that right now we're not on the same page, and they moved forward. I like it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I enjoyed it because so at first I was very critical of Aubrey in this moment. I was like, "What are you doing? This is day one. You have to be way more fluid and open. This is literally your first impression of Genevieve here." But it's funny because as soon as Genevieve gets that energy, I feel like Genevieve stands her ground within it, right? She's like, "Okay, if you're gonna be tough, I'll be tough back." And then it really feels like I don't know, a battle of tension between the two of them. Um, I
Sage
don't
from
know if this.
49,
What's that?
Sage from 49 gave me that same energy. It's like where you're in or you're
Mm.
out.
Yes, that's a great comparison actually. I just and I like the tension, I like the conflict as well. The only reason I don't like it is I don't think it's going to be good news for Aubrey. Like the fact that this is her opening, interaction with Genevieve. And Genevieve is pretty well glued with other people within the tribe right now. And we didn't really see much of Aubrey interacting with other people during this episode. So if this is a reflection of how she's going to have interactions with other people on the season, I don't think she'll be long for the season, and I want to see Aubrey go far.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm a little bit gun shy with predicting who's going to stay based on their like what we see because of Sophie S. Last season, we didn't see her at all until
Mhm.
like the last third, and then she came out a total rock star. So maybe
It's
you
true.
still got hope for Aubrey. Maybe she's just rocking and rolling in the background there.
It's true. I was
And
surprised that we didn't get more confessionals out of Aubrey. She feels like of all the players that have played multiple times that have a legacy, I feel like we spent a lot of time on the other ones, but she was the one that got shortchanged just a little bit. So hoping that episode 2 is a big one for Aubrey's return.
sure.
Okay, I want to move on to one of my favorite dynamics of the season so far. It's something I am on the bandwagon for, and that is the bromance between Christian Hubicki and Rick Devens. Did you see this coming? What did you think about this? Lay it all on me.
No, they're both bros. Like it's very evident and they've always been bros, but I love a bromance. I love a bromance and I like that they're buddies and I like that it just seems like they're out there giggling, like waiting for their turn to talk. I like them both individually, but together I think they are just going to make for entertainment cinema, as Rizzo would say. I love it.
Absolutely. So endearing seeing them both, start to talk to each other. Then we get their confessionals about how they're both interested in working together, and then cut to them hugging and, celebrating their friendship. So cute, so fun. I want this alliance to work out so much, but I do not expect them to go far. I don't think that either of them have the social tact to make it a low-key alliance. And
Sure.
then I think they're just going to be in front of everyone's faces. They're going to be perceived as a duo, and ultimately that's going to spell trouble for them.
I could see that happening. The good thing is I don't think either one of them are like a super strong challenge threat, and I don't think either one of them like threat as in winner or threat as in loser. So I think they'll ride the middle of the pack until the merge, and then I think you're spot on. They'll say, okay, we can't do this. We've got to split them up.
If someone can come in and help them out, and I don't think it'll be Emily, unfortunately, I don't think she's going to be the one to give this advice, but if someone can explain to them that they need to take a Kyle and Camilla approach to this, then I think that they're actually really well suited to play the game. But I just don't necessarily believe that'll happen. I love the analogy that Christian made where he would be Spock and then Rick Devens would be Captain Kirk. It's such a beautiful analogy, and I think it does perfectly encapsulate how they would approach the game. I came up with a ship name for the two of them because,
Oh,
I like
what
them
is it?
together and I am a Star Trek fan. So the Star Trek ship is the Enterprise, right? So this I'm going to be calling them I wrote it down, the Devbinky Enterprise. That's what I'm calling the ship for this alliance, the Devbinky Enterprise.
Love it.
By the end of
Love
the
it, love it.
season, this is gonna catch on, and you'll be able to say you were here when I premiered this name.
The
Okay.
hashtag Dev Benke Enterprise is going to be trending.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
can't
Thank you
wait.
for your
Yeah.
support. Yes. And of course, there is a potential secret weapon in their alliance in the form of Emily, who is definitely, she seems excited to work with them. We know that she has a history of playing games with Christian Hubicki, in the form of Blood on the Clock Tower. And then she was very excited to work with Rick Devens. She said this makes her so happy she could kiss him right now. So
Yeah.
it seems like the three of them will at least try to navigate the game together.
Yeah. I think that's a good trio. And to your point, I think Emily could step in and be like, hey, but I don't know if they could. They just have so much bro chemistry. So I don't even know if they could keep it under wraps if they wanted to.
Unfortunately, I predict that Emily is going to bring the exact same energy to the trio in the sense that I think she's going to be really excited about it. She's going to have a lot of fun with it. But Emily's not been one to have social tact in the past. So I don't know that she's going to be the one to keep a damper on what they have going on. But hopefully the Dev Binky enterprise will soar off into the distance soon enough here. Now, I want to talk about one of the more interesting twists that is in the season. This is one of the twists that was talked about the most leading up to season 50, and that is the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol. What do you think about this as a twist in general, the mechanics of it? What do you think?
I think we can all agree that Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol is a mouthful to say. I love idols, individual mini idols. Love them, love them, love them. And I think that I love a good blindside, and those two things go hand in hand. Do I think that sometimes they get a little bit too complicated and nobody's clear on when, where, how to use them and can cause chaos, either good or bad? Yes. And so this one has the potential to be chaotic in the way what there's a lot of confusion, or in Genevieve's case, people could forget about it happening altogether. So I think there's a lot of complexities to it, which makes me hesitant to be all in with a Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol. That's hard for me to say, but I think it's a fun, neat twist, and the fact that she chose Ozzy without realizing he already had an advantage is. And he doesn't realize he's the most powerful player in the game, but he's legitimately the most powerful player in the game at this point, all because of Genevieve's decision. So I kind of like it. I was hesitant when all the marketing and whatnot was saying Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol. I thought it was going to be something cheesy where like Billie Eilish pops out of a bush, sings him a song, and then gives somebody an idol. So I was super relieved to know that it's just a naturally, organically found idol, but her name's just tied to it. So that I was totally cool with. But I thought it was going to kind of water down the idol in itself, but I don't feel like that at all.
Yeah, I feel like you're not alone in your skepticism for the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol, right? Like, what is the Billie Eilish of it all? Is I think something that we were all thinking coming into it, but Billie Eilish being a part of it is just arbitrary. I mean, there she might as well it might as well be called the Bib Boolabog Billy,
Yeah,
Boomerang Idol. It really doesn't matter, which I appreciate, but now I'm a little disappointed. I was
yeah,
excited to see what's the Billie Eilish of it all, but no, it might as well just be called the Boomerang Idol. Now, as far as the Boomerang Idol is concerned, I might be a little bit more headstrong than you are on it. I'm so excited about this as an
are
addition
you
to the Survivor
okay?
franchise. I am. I think that, I've been thinking about the Boomerang Idol a lot, and I think that it adds a very interesting twist to it, And for future players of the season, obviously we haven't seen how it's really going to play out, but just from what we've seen so far, I would think if I'm Ozzy in a future season and I get the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol, I am definitely going to use it as soon as possible, or I would save it for anytime we get a tribe swap or a merge, because the dynamic of the fact that Ozzy now has this to use at his disposal, I don't think that he knows necessarily that it does boomerang back to someone if he loses it, right?
I don't think so. No.
That's probably not privy to him. But what he's also maybe not considering is that other people back at her beach might know that he has this idol now. So I think that's an interesting dynamic that Ozzy doesn't seem to be thinking about. Is like, who knows that I have this in my pocket? So I think that's fun. And yeah, just the concept of like setting someone up and preying on their downfall that they might, go home with it in their pocket in the hopes that it might return to you. As Genevieve, I think this is great. Like, this is almost like finding an idol without the pressure of having the idol at first.
Yeah. I liked one thing I liked about it is there are some advantages I fully believe players should keep quiet. I think they should keep them in their pocket, keep quiet, use them at their own disposal. The more people know, the it's kind of they can prey on you because you have it. Well, this particular idol, she took back to her tribe and was like, what do we want to do with it? And this particular case, I think that built credibility for her and then gave them something to unite over. Like, we all agree the best person is Ozzy. So it was a good way to find an advantage, but also that is an advantage to Genevieve, but also kind of build camaraderie around your team. Like, we're in this together, we're working together. You can trust me. See, this is one reason you can trust me. And so I thought that was really neat how she played that. And then smart. When people get an individual immunity idol that they can keep secret and they just run back and tell everybody, what are you doing? Please don't do that.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong. Ozzy doesn't know that Genevieve sent it to him,
No,
right?
he just knows somebody wanted him to have it.
So really, this is, if I'm being honest, the boomerang idol is a curse for whoever receives it because now if they get to emerge and Ozzy still has this in his pocket, then Genevieve and everyone on her starting tribe are just gonna gang up and blindside Ozzy. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And I'm
So
excited to
yeah.
see. I love a blindside man. That's the whole reason I love Survivor. Blindsides.
Yeah, so who knows? I mean, I think it's fun in that it could set up this mechanic where Genevieve and whoever she's working with at the time can work, unite to blindside Ozzy and then gain an advantage within the game. Super interesting. Can't wait to see how it all plays out. So moving on, I want to talk about what is debatably the media section of this entire premiere episode, and that is the standoff between Suri and Jenna.
Love
Their
it.
tribe goes to tribal council, and it's really between Suri and Jenna as far as the conversations are concerned. What did you think about how this whole tribal council ended up playing out?
I love it. I listened to Jenna's exit interview. I may be jumping too far ahead, but there was so much that she talked about in the exit interview that I thought was really eye-opening. She was genuinely shocked. I think we could all tell from the tribal reaction. She was like, okay, it is what it is. But apparently, her thought was that everybody had agreed to vote Sri out, one, because they know she's a strategic threat, two, because they know she's got an alliance already with Ozzy, and three, she just totally tanked the challenge game. Well, apparently, Sri was adamant that she do the part of the game where you throw the ball into the hook to pull it.
Really?
According to Jenna, Savannah wanted to do it because she said, I just did this in 49 and I won the challenge, so let me do it. And Sri said, no, I have this built in my backyard. I'll do it. And so she told Savannah no, and then she went in and just bombed. And she said it took her like 25 minutes, which was like 4 times the amount it took anybody else. So the whole tribe was like, what is happening? And then still Sri worked her Sri magic somehow and talked to everybody into voting Jenna out. The part that I thought was most interesting is they didn't just vote Jenna out. It wasn't like we knew going into tribal it was going to be Suri or Jenna. I feel like that was pretty clear. But I thought it was going to be a relatively even split on the votes. Everyone voted for Jenna. And if that's not the most Suri coded thing that has ever happened, I don't know what is.
Yeah, going into the episode, Suri was actually my pick for the first boot. I posted
Okay.
that on social media a couple times, and I thought, she's not going to be an asset in the challenges. She'll be a really big threat. Compared to Jenna, I would consider Suri much larger of a threat. We've seen what Suri can do. So yes, the fact that Suri was able to work her magic yet again, it seems like the tighter a situation Suri gets into, the more magic she can pull off somehow. It's actually insane that she was able to turn everyone around here because I thought it was a no-brainer to send Suri home. I think ultimately what ends up being the most powerful factor in Jenna going home is Ozzy going to Suri's defense. He fought pretty hard for her, whereas otherwise it seemed like a consensus vote against Suri. And so the fact that Ozzy defended her, I think Hugh Bickey had a line where he said, this will piss people off the least or something like that, where we don't want to come home to a messy tribe. Let's send Jenna home. At least everyone can get on the same page and we can move forward. So it ends up being like maybe not in everyone's best interest to vote out Suri, but the most kumbaya move is to vote out Jenna.
Yeah. I think that's the trick. And I think that was Jenna's like the bullet in Jenna is the fact that she was so outspoken from the very beginning. we've said it before and I'll say it again, is when you are first starting on a tribe, until the merge, I firmly believe don't be the worst, don't be the best, don't be the loudest, don't be the quietest, be the very, very middle. And then once the merge happens, go for it. Like, then you go all out. But in the very beginning, the person who just jumps out and says, let's do this, let's do this, I think that that really causes you to put a target on your own back unnecessarily. But I'll tell you, if I'm ever on trial for anything, I'll pay Suri whatever she wants to be paid to defend me. Literally
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, and she kind of did it effortlessly in this
Yeah.
episode. We didn't see her scrambling, you know. I think that she was, hitting the violin, hitting the, poor me. Oh no, I guess I'm out again, you know. So I think people were maybe feeling some sympathy for her, but she really wasn't too active. She really relied on her like stoicism almost and just her general relationships that she has right now. And they kind of did the work for her. It was kind of a master class to see.
Yeah. Yeah. It really was. It was Sharice magic. That's the only way I know how to describe it.
Well, I'm very happy at the fact that we will be getting more Suri on our screens over the course of this season. But I'm sad to see Jenna go. You know, I was getting really excited on seeing what Jenna might bring to the table. And the concept of someone from season one making it to the end of 50 was like an epic one in my brain. But for now, I'll have to put those hopes to rest.
Yeah. Well, I'll say one more thing about Jenna. I liked watching her play. I think I would have loved to watch her play. I think she would have really brought a lot to this season, but I like how she left. I like that she was ticked off. I like that she was like obviously surprised, and I like that she was obviously annoyed. And that carried through to her exit interview. She's still mad. And I love it because that's old school Survivor.
Mhm.
That's how it used to be. Now, yes, I think people should be respectful, and yes, I think people should be kind, and it is a game. All those things are true, but like I want to play. And the fact that she like made it known, I don't want to leave. Like this, I don't think this was the best decision. I was like, good for you, Jenna. You're really bringing that old school Survivor flavor that everybody has been begging for.
Yeah, and from a viewer perspective, it feels more satisfying to have that reaction because it's like that's how I would feel, right? Like
Yeah, right.
there's something about that, like watching someone get upset because they were betrayed feels satisfying as a viewer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first in, first out, Jenna Lewis. Sorry to see you
First
go, but
in, first out.
that's
That's
how it
sad.
plays on 50. Yeah. Um, one small moment I wanted to talk about that I thought was really awesome was, Christian, Jenna, they all came together. It was a team effort to create a fire using glasses, something
Yeah.
we've rarely seen on Survivor. We haven't seen in such a long time. What a fun moment, especially for the premiere of season 50.
Yeah, I love it. They're being resourceful. They're being thoughtful. They're not just rolling over and taking what was given to them. They're like, what else can we do? Thinking outside the box a little bit. And when people say old era versus new era, I think that's maybe more of what they mean a little bit more passion and a little bit more creativity because there was nothing, they didn't have a guidebook or they didn't have a blueprint from previous seasons. They were just going out there and doing their best. Nothing says you can't make fire with glasses. I have glasses and we need fire. So, like, love it. Love it.
Yeah. That was seriously one of the highlights of the episode. Just seeing Christian come to the aha moment. They're like, man, the sun sure is hot. And then he goes, wait a minute. No, no, I won't get my hopes up. And then cut to they're making the fire with the glasses. So awesome. Also, if I'm going on Survivor in the future, excuse me, when I go on Survivor in the
Yes,
future,
win.
I'm getting a prescription. I need glasses now. Why would not every single person come on Survivor wearing glasses? Because this is an extra tool in your kit. You know, now that it's been proven on this level, I mean, I think this is the third time it's been done in the franchise. Bring glasses every time. Try this every time for sure.
Yeah. Well, I took my 4-year-old to the eye doctor this week for the first time, and she purposely bombed her test. So you could do the same things. You can take some notes from her.
Okay, she's pre-gaming for
That's
Survivor
right,
for
right
years from
at
now.
4.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, very fun moment. Of course, a brief fun moment before we get to another somber moment in the form of Kyle's medical evacuation. Yes, I know a lot of people saw this one coming. I did hear this on the rumor mill before the season started, but that didn't take away from the heartbreak that was seeing Kyle limp out of the game, unfortunately. What did you think about how this all played out?
It was heartbreaking. It was sad. I think it was pretty evident from the initial injury that things didn't look good. And everybody seemed to be really hopeful. When he had his leg wrapped and he was still walking around, I thought maybe, maybe. But when they came back, the Jeff and the doctor, he knew. I think he knew immediately that it wasn't it wasn't good. I will tell you, at the Survivor Watch Party, after the season ended, everybody in the whole room was using the bar stools to check their Achilles tendons.
Mm,
So maybe he is bringing awareness to Achilles injuries across the world. Maybe that was
okay.
his purpose.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? There's a reason for everything, right? Seeing Kyle go, it was so tough for me. Just because he's so likable, right?
Oh
Like
my
I don't know
gosh.
if I would have felt this way with everyone on the cast, but something about Kyle, he's just so endearing. He has such a good attitude. I'm happy that it happened to someone who just won. You know, he was just out there. But even though he was just on 48, he was just the winner of 48. It's a marvel to the personality that Kyle has that even me as a viewer can still feel heartbroken that he
Yeah.
doesn't get his shot, even though he just won like 6 months ago or whatever it was, right? So,
I
um,
was super excited to see their Camilla and Kyle's dynamic as the game continued. So I would like, are they going to hitch their wagons back to each other? Or are they going to be purposely separate because they know how strong both of them are? I don't know.
mm,
I was really excited to see that. But one thing about Kyle, I'll say one more thing about him. I saw on social media earlier this week that him and his wife have a new baby coming in May. So maybe it was
oh,
um, all part of the plan together. It's you know what? I just put something together in my mind. Jake had a new baby being born and he got medically evacted. Kyle has a new baby being born. He's getting medically evacted. Evic is it evac?
evacuated.
Evacuated, yes. So if you have a new baby coming, maybe don't go on Survivor.
Yeah, this is interesting. Yes,
That's the curse
there's
of the
a
baby.
medical evacuation to fatherhood
Yeah.
pipeline happening out here. Very interesting. I wonder if that means that Christian Hubicki will be leaving the show soon. We know his secret weapon is a newborn baby back home.
Yeah.
I would hate to see it, but who knows?
Well, I did some math, and 24 players are the most players, obviously, that we've ever seen in a Survivor season. The number of episodes to the end, there's got to be multiple episodes where more than one people go home. So there's either going to be double eliminations or people are going to leave for other reasons. I hate it when people leave because they got hurt. I hate that because they're there to play, and there's nothing that's totally out of their control. They have no control over an injury like that, but I'll be curious to see. We've not seen double eliminations in a while, so I don't know. Who knows what will happen?
And I'm sure those double eliminations are going to be even tougher pills to swallow. You know, this is going to be a season where every time somebody goes home, it's going to hurt, right? Like everyone on this cast, I like at least on some level. I'm on some level rooting for everyone, you know, some more than others, but I think it will be sad and tragic to see each person on the season get their torch snuffed, except for maybe Mike White, who I think is coming into the game with maybe the least writing on it of anyone on this cast. He seems like he's really there just to have fun and enjoy the journey. So maybe I won't feel sad if he gets his torch snuffed, but everyone else, I think I'd feel a little piece of my heart break.
Totally. I think Mike White's there to have a good time. And I mean, can you imagine his abs when he leaves? I
Oh
mean,
my
he's got
God.
abs now, but by the time he leaves, he's really just going to be beefed up.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for the shock and reveal of Mike White's abs
Nobody
this
was.
season. Yeah, no. Yeah, why is Mike White hot? I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
I think we're all confused. We're like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this.
Yeah. Colby is Rizzo's father, and Mike White is shredded. Okay, we have
Yeah. What is
made it to
happening?
the bizarro world of Survivor timelines.
Yeah, not on our bingo card, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, but you know, that's pretty much going to bring our highlight recap to a close. But before we get out of here, I do want to just recap the advantages that are in the game right now and just do a running tally for anyone at home who isn't quite sure. You know, as far as advantages go, Ozzy is clearly leading the pack. He's got his boomerang idol that Genevieve gave to him, and he has an extra vote right now. So Ozzy is the clear leader in advantages right now.
Yeah, yep.
Uh,
And the best thing part about it is he has no idea. I'm sure he has
yes.
some idea, but I can't imagine that he has much idea. So I'll be so curious to see how he kind of plays those out, and I hope he keeps his mouth shut. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Then we have Savannah with a block vote. Savannah seems like she's coming in playing hard. I actually think Savannah could go pretty far. Socially, she seems like she's doing a good job, and with a block vote in her pocket, I'm not down on Savannah. I think she has good odds.
Do you think her tribe? They kind of read her like a book when she came back and said, "I just got to keep my vote." They're like, "Okay."
Yeah, I forgot about that. That is going to be tough. That's going to be something for her to overcome because they're immediately rolling their eyes at her.
Yeah, I love that because in 49 they would have bought it hook, line, and sinker. In 50, that shit it's not going to fly. They're saying, I don't know about that.
That's true. You're right. 49 would have fallen right for that. You're definitely right about that. That's pretty much all the advantages, but we do have some disadvantages, right? We have Q and Colby leading the charge with 0 votes for their upcoming tribal. Both of them lost their votes. So that's the stage coming into episode 2 of Survivor 50.
Good stuff. I don't think Q or Colby needed their vote.
Well, we'll see. They're on the same tribe, so if whenever this tribe does go to tribal, I mean, things are going to get wacky for sure with 2 less votes, and now Kyle's not in there, right? So there's only 5 available votes for 7 people on the tribe. So that's interesting.
So you only have to have 3 people agree.
That's true. That's true. We might get a very interesting vote early on if we see this tribal going to council. Again, thank you so much for being here. Before I let you go, I am going to force you to play this game I've been working on. This
Okay.
is going to be called Survivor 15 Words or Less, and this is going to be themed for Survivor 50. So that is your hint before we get started. These will all be Survivor 50 players. The way that this game works is I am going to have 10 clues for Becca to guess here, but she is going to have 15 chances to take my 1 word clue and tell me which Survivor player I am thinking of. So that's how this game is going to work. She has 15 chances to guess 10 answers here. So that's how the game is going to work. You essentially can afford to get 5 wrong. So that's how
Okay.
the game is going to work here. And they are going to get harder as we go. Okay. So I'm going to start at the easiest and they're going to get a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to give you 1 word. You tell me what Survivor 50 player I am talking about. For the first one, your word is God.
Rizzo.
All right, you got it. So there we go. We got one down. That was the easiest one. They get harder from here. Okay, robotics.
Robotics. Christian.
You got it. Christian
Okay.
Hubicki. All right. Lotus.
Oh, Mike White.
Mike White. There you go. See, we're back on a roll.
Good, 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 good.
This one's interesting. Let's see how you do. Jacket.
Jacket. Oh, Stephanie.
No, not Stephanie. I think you got her mixed up. But the second word for her is the second word for this guess. So jacket and now Natalie.
Um, oh gosh, was it Aubrey?
No, no, no. It is Angelina.
Angelina. Okay, I remember that scene, but I didn't remember who it was. Yeah. Can I have her
That's
jacket?
okay.
Yeah.
This one, we're getting a little weird. Okay, so the next clue for you is Kyle.
Kyle?
Kyle is the clue. I know.
Okay, then I'm gonna go with Camilla.
Perfect. I know that was a little
Perfect.
weird, but that's exactly what I was thinking. Very good. All right, this one's gonna get interesting. If you don't get it on the first guess, I have some better clues. So
Okay.
this one is I could have done it easy, but this one is intentionally difficult. We're getting to the end of the list. Unbreakable.
Unbreakable. I'm gonna go with Joe.
Good guess. I see where you're heading, but that's not the answer. Unbreakable. My second word is immeasurable. Unbreakable. Immeasurable.
I am gonna go with Coach.
Coach. Perfect. Yes. So I was quoting the monastic, or excuse me, the martyr approach from Coach's season back in Token Jeans, where he was unbreakable, immeasurable, unmoving. He just went on and on with all these adjectives. So I could have gone Dragon Slayer or Dragon. That would have been too easy. But yes, you
Yeah.
got it with Coach.
Coach's my favorite thing that Coach said in this past episode was, "I didn't do Boo Diddley." Who
Yes.
says
Yes,
that?
I know. What a ridiculous thing, especially from Coach of all people. That is
Yeah,
not
Boo
like
Diddley.
his typical vernacular.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This one's gonna be tough. Okay, we're at the end of the list. This is a hardball.
Okay.
Chocolate.
Chocolate. D.
No, no. This one's tough. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say daddy.
Chocolate Daddy.
I know, I
Um,
know. They're two
let's
separate clues, but for the same person.
okay. I am gonna guess Q.
Great guess. Wrong answer though.
Oh, great.
I'm gonna give you one more hint.
Okay.
Australia.
Okay. Um, Colby.
Colby. Yeah, so the reach here was Colby on his first season. Jerry and other girls in the season were comparing him to chocolate, and he didn't like that. He said, "I ain't no chocolate. I may be some things, but I ain't no chocolate." And then on Heroes versus Villains, Colby said, Jeff was offering them a little bit of
Oh,
chocolate for the challenge, and he's like, "I'm good. I don't need it." So I was calling back to some of his iconic moments, and then Daddy because he's Rizzo's daddy this season, of
that's
course.
very sweet. Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Australia gave it away. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Okay, Christmas.
Christmas. Christmas. I'm gonna use
Christmas.
this one. Q?
Q. Yes. Yes. You can cancel Christmas when Q's around. That's
Yeah,
right.
that's right. Q's the best. He's one of the most fun to watch, I think.
So this is the last one for the 50 cast. This one, debatably, is the hardest one. I've got data.
Data. Okay. Rick Divins.
Ooh, no, 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 no. But I like where you're at. I like where you're at. You're close.
Charlie.
Analyst. That's my second clue. Data
Data.
analyst.
I'm
You're gonna have to know their careers in real life to pull this one out. But I've got one more clue if that doesn't do it.
data analyst. I'm gonna say, oh, I don't even know.
What if I throw in Margarita? Does that make anything?
Emily.
Emily, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, data analyst Emily Flippin. That's right. Yeah, that one was the hardest one,
I
admittedly.
remember her vividly with that margarita. Girl, same. Yeah.
Yes. And then this one is just for fun. This one I will say is not from 50, but it's a little sprinkle on top. I think you'll get this one. Pissed.
Oh, I don't remember her name, but she says, pissed.
Okay, that counts. That counts. Yes, that is Liz.
Liz. Okay. Yeah. She was fun to watch too. And again, I keep saying it. I'm here for the conflict. So anybody angry, mad, upset, love it. Love it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a top moment for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you for playing my game, Becca. I've been working on that. That's a little bit of a design that I want to
You're
use
doing
for this
great.
podcast moving forward. So thank you for indulging in my little game here.
It was fun. I thought that was really fun. And it caused me rack my brain a little bit. I love it.
Yes. Well, like I said, Becca, thank you so much for joining us. Before we head out of here, is there any other highlights, any other, burning moments from the season 50 premiere that you want to talk about before we sign off?
Burning moments. I think there were a lot of really, really fun things that happened, and I like how they kind of laid it out. One thing we didn't talk about that I would like to briefly talk about was the challenge with Colby and Savannah. It felt like Savannah was nervous, which is something new that we've not seen from her in the past. She's always gone in just incredibly confident. So that was just interesting, something that I noticed. And I felt like that challenge in general was super lax. Normally, when they go to a challenge, it's like physical or like there's time or something. But this was like felt like a bar game. So I was thought the game was intriguing, and I thought her reaction to being chosen for that game was also interesting. Just unexpected a little bit, both things.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm surprised there wasn't a time mechanic to it. Like there almost should have been like a 1 minute hourglass for each
Something.
turn or
Yeah.
something like that to raise the stakes a little bit. That is interesting. And you're right. It was almost like a networking opportunity, them going
Yes.
out here.
Yeah.
And I hadn't thought about it, but you are also so right in that we have not seen Savannah be starstruck or flustered or a little nervous like this before. This was maybe the most shy version of Savannah that we've gotten, seeing a celebrity that she's known for a long time.
Yeah. I don't know. Just something interesting, something I'm going to keep in my back pocket as I like think through how she's going to blend with the players, the old players. But it seems like she's really trying to be thoughtful about how she interacts with them, which is just a different dynamic. And I appreciate the fact that she's changing her game up a little bit to kind of fit with this group.
Yeah, well, like I said, Colby is Rizzo's father now.
True.
And I don't think it's a stretch to call Savannah Rizzo's sister. So
Yeah.
perhaps Colby could be adopting another child on
Could
this
be.
season.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yes.
maybe we could see that happen. That was interesting. I did enjoy that challenge overall, mainly for the character interaction and less so for the actual consequences of
Sure.
it, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was another episode of the podcast here on the Survivor Podcast. Oh, as always, my name is Darius Cook, and today I was joined by Becca. Thank you so much for joining us, Becca. Do you want to plug your socials for the millions of viewers at home?
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Becca Walker. I co-host the Bitches Spoken podcast, so you can find us on YouTube, and we're also active on socials. We've got X, Instagram, and TikTok. Just look for the Bitches Spoken. We have a lot of fun over there.
Alrighty. So yeah, definitely check out her stuff. They're posting all the time, guys. So you are going to want to stay tapped in. I myself will be posting to YouTube every single week and to TikTok every single day. So if you want to see that, you know where to tap in. Thank you for watching this video. Have a lovely day.